That's it, great, thank you. All right, so can you start with your legs crossed? Now I'm coming into the Lotus Pose, where you would draw the outer edge of your foot to the inner seam of your thigh, and then your knees kind of draw down towards the earth, and then you can feel your knees grounding into the earth, and then your spine building up from that base. If you can take Lotus Pose, that's wonderful. If not, can you just cross your legs? Can you maybe bring in your right leg first when you cross your legs? Just be aware of that, the organization that you choose. Same thing when you sort of cross your thumbs sometimes in the interlacing fingers. All these things, you know, it's really important that we expand our awareness. And we slow ourselves down to the extent that we notice these things, because we care about our vehicles, and that's the point of practicing. One of them. Then just let yourselves heavy into your seat. So it might mean that you can you draw yourselves back a little bit so that until you can feel the plumb line of your spine reaching down into the earth. We've discussed this before about that sense of as you draw down towards the earth, you also get you can feel something to push against, and you also get a lift. So the spine lengthens. Can you almost imagine there being space in between the vertebrae? And then can you tuck your chin a little bit to extend the back of the head, behind the back of the head? So this position here is something that is a kind of goal almost. It's very challenging to sit still. And partly yoga was created so that we could sit still for hours. That was kind of the goal, so that you could then meditate and then achieve a kind of sense of enlightenment. So we won't get too ahead of ourselves this morning, but perhaps you could just take a few deep breaths, keep your eyes nice and soft, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you do this, can you feel yourself arriving very definitely in the space that you're in? And that doesn't mean that you start to notice the things around you, but that you notice the feeling of yourselves in the space. So nice deep inhales with that soft belly. And exhale through the mouth. And as you bring your focus to the breath, hopefully you will find that anything that you've been focusing on this morning kind of melts away. Perhaps you become more aware of the physical sensations. And on your next exhale, can you just let your eyes lower? So lower your lids softly and really reel in your senses. And just ask yourselves a very simple question. How are you today? You may have an answer in words, you may have an answer in sensation. Just see what you can feel, what you can uncover. And accept it, acknowledge it. If it's something that you find is challenging, then that acceptance might be a bigger ask. If it's something very pleasant, then that's something you can really welcome in, and you can feel it kind of generating this sort of sense of enthusiasm and lightness within you already. But just know that if it's a challenging feeling, it will pass, and hopefully during the course of the session. And if you just take your mind's eye to your crown and perform a little body scan. So take your mind's eye down from the crown, across the front of the face. Just check in that you're relaxing your facial muscles, your ears, relaxed, your scalp is relaxed, your jaw, your nose, your eyes, your brow. And notice anything that comes up. And can you take the focus now down through the throat, the neck, to the shoulders. You don't have to hang anywhere, you don't have to be too slow or too quick, try not to race. Just imagine you're in some sort of scanner and it's just checking you out, and you're checking yourselves for anything that you may not have noticed yet this morning, today. Keep drawing that focus down through the torso towards the navel center. Perhaps take a moment there just to feel the belly rise and fall. Then carry on down towards the earth, where you make contact with the earth. To the legs, the knees, the shins, the calves, the feet. Right to the soles of the feet, the soles of the toes. And then as you breathe now, you can imagine that you breathe up through the soles of the feet, through all the areas that you just scanned through. So you're breathing up through the body, breathe it up. With that breath, it's a brave breath, and it sort of peels away any stickiness or depletion or tension. And as you exhale, release that all with a sense of that everything is going to be okay. Take another couple of deep breaths like this, please. Really feel that breath like air as it just breezes through and cleanses you. One more nice deep breath like that. Wonderful. And then just let your gaze drop down to the earth. Open up the eyelids gently, allow the light back in. And bring your gaze back in front of you. Lovely. Gently untuck from your cross-legged position. And then can you come to standing? We're going to move straight away into our standing balancing posture with tree. And I'd like you to see if you can connect just as much with that sense of the earth and being aware of inside out in this posture today. So let's stand on the left leg, inhale and draw the right knee up towards the armpit and externally rotate out to the side. Now remember that you've got options here. So can you place your sole of the foot either to the inner edge of the left thigh, the standing leg, nice and firm. The shin or toes down to the earth and the heel presses against the calf. But can you avoid the knee? It's not meant to be pushed from the side. Lovely. And then can you draw your focus back to the hips? So palms to the hips and thumbs behind you. You can just check if your hips are drawing directly forward. And it might be that your right hip is cocked up a little bit. So can you just draw it down? So left and right hip are the same height. Fantastic. Great. Inhale. Can you draw the arms up into the air? Exhale. Now can you take your focus to the standing leg? You might notice a few little micro movements in that standing leg. That's absolutely fine. Just remember to keep your breath nice and steady, and you'll find that steadies the whole posture. Beautiful. Now, can you take the challenge of perhaps lowering your lids here? So keep a sense of a drishti, the sense of the focus point in front of you. But just see what it's like as you lower your lids. Ooh. Yes, it's more challenging. And then open up your eyes, and can you allow the arms to just draw down towards your side, and then cross this, now your right heel over to your left knee and sink down into a one-legged chair. So you're getting a nice stretch to the outer edge of the right hips. Lift up and see if you can now draw your navel away from your thighs. So you're engaging your navel here. You bend through your left knee. You create a little bit of a ledge for that foot, so that should catch the ankle. Lovely. And then we're going to melt the upper body down and come to the fingertips. Then you can unhook your foot, and perhaps you want to stand about hip width apart, and can you just bend into your knees left and right, so you're opening up the backs of the legs, and then gradually you can melt your torso down so that your gaze goes through your legs. Shake your head out And just drop that sense of being supported only by one limb. And feel really nicely held by the earth in this forward fold. Perhaps you draw your legs so they are going towards straight or even straight already, and then practice putting your weight through your palms and your feet equally. Spread your fingertips nice and wide. And then we're just going to walk ourselves into a downward facing dog. So you either take your hands or your feet backwards and enjoy perhaps walking through here as well. Breathing nice and deeply so that you feel the back part of the body getting a lovely stretch, and it may be a chance for you just to stretch out and get some symmetry in the spine. You may feel a couple of little clicks or adjustments there as it naturally extends and releases tension. Gaze through the legs or to the feet. Inhale, 1. 3 breaths here. Perhaps go in your own time if you prefer. Inhale, 2. Perhaps exhale through the mouth if you like that feeling of just releasing any stale air from the morning. 1 more breath here, or perhaps you want to drop to your knees. And then can you take your gaze to the top of the mat and simply walk like you're walking on a tightrope back up to the top of the mat and gently stack your spine. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Roll the shoulders back and feel a lift in the upper body. Lovely. Sorry. So slightly, that's better. Great, okay, so now we're going to repeat that little sequence on the opposite side. So just make sure that you first of all feel really nice and grounded through your soles of your feet. And the weight is coming through the heel, the outer edge of the little toe, and then the base of the big toe. So nice spread, triangle spread through the base of the feet. And then we're going to inhale, draw the left knee up and externally rotate. So can you come into your tree posture on the opposite side? Check in once again with the hips. So you also don't want to have in any way a sense of a concave back. So you really want to make sure that your navel draws in and up. So cueing your navel is a really good way to remind yourselves of that structure around your middle. Okay, so it gives you space, it gives you length, and eventually it tones both your internal abdominal muscles and your external abdominal muscles. I'm not promising 6 packs right away, but it gives you that sense of awareness in your midriff, in your middle area. And that's really, really important for every activity we do. If you really slow down in the day, you notice a lot of your action is propelled by in this area of your solar plexus. So keeping it nice and engaged, being able to engage it is a wonderful way to sort of motivate action. Let's inhale and draw the arms up. Now find your sense of drishti, so that focus point in front of you. Remember, it's not what you're looking at that is important, it's the way that you're looking at it. So those wobbly lines, if it was a cartoon, that are the weight of your gaze. That's kind of holding you up. And then can you test again how it feels to lower your eyes? This is such an interesting thing to do every day. Tells you so much about yourself. Like when you take away the sense of sight, really reveals kind of how steady you are in mind. Pull out, come back in, try and find your sense of stability once again. You take another couple of nice, few balancing, steadying breaths. Keep your ears, your ears drawing down, your shoulders drawing down, away from your ears. Lovely. And then we're going to repeat that process where we take the left ankle, over the right thigh. Draw the arms together as if they're holding a beach ball in front of you and sit back down into your chair. This is standing pigeon. Good idea to use a prop. You can lean against a wall, a piece of furniture. You just want to make sure that you can plant a bit of weight through the pelvis and feel that release in the hips. And then see if you can keep that sense of being held in the abdominal area and fall forwards, softly down. Release the left leg and place it next to the right. And this time we're going to come into a Malasana, into a squat pose. So can you take your feet hip width apart and toes point outwards, and then simply sink down so you feel your hips really release. Palms together, inhale, press them together, let the chest lift and shine up, forward. Let your pelvis draw down, feel that lovely extension through the spinal column, particularly if you've been sitting a lot. This gives you a lovely way to release that sense of perhaps build up of tension in the lower back and the lumbar spine. And then we're going to expand the right palm down and inhale, draw the left arm up, look up towards the left palm. Fill your belly with breath. And if you'd like to go a bit further, you can reach towards a bind where you take the left palm behind your right knee, your right hand lifts up off the floor, and you catch the hands behind your right hip. Gaze goes up. Keeps up to the earth. Then we come back to the center. Feel your symmetry in a few breaths before we repeat on the opposite side. And then again, if you want to, you can attempt to reach back for the bind. Lovely. So once more, we're going to build up into downward facing dog. So can you reach your hands forwards, lift up your hips, push through the base of the feet and extend back. So you want to have about a leg's length between your palms and your soles of the feet. Your downward dog, remember hip width apart with the feet. And the palms about the same distance, about shoulder distance. And then can you take your gaze through the legs, inhale and exhale in your own time, counting 3 breaths. And as you do so, can you just test what it's like? Have you got more weight in your hands? And if so, can you move the weight back into the soles of the feet? But if you feel it's the reverse and you're heavy in the legs, see if you can move some of the weight through to the shoulders. So can you keep drawing your shoulders away from your ears? Imagine you're wrapping your shoulder blades like wings around your rib cage towards your waist. Can you draw your sit bones together, lift up through the navel? Beautiful. Imagine that your hip creases are lifting up as well. Great. And then can you take your gaze to the front of the mat? Once again, perhaps this time you can cross one leg over the other to walk up to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, draw up, look up towards your fingertips. And exhale, release the arms down the side. Now we're going to go into sun salutation A. Inhale, can you draw up, lift up, keep the navel drawing in, the tailbone drawing down. Exhale, bend the knees, place the palms, fold forward. Inhale, look up, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump into plank. Lower down, inhale, upward facing dog. And then exhale into downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale from your navel center. Keep it nice and soft. Remember your alignment point, so think about drawing your sit bones together, your shoulders down and back. And when you get to the base of your third exhalation, can you take your gaze to the top of the mat and either step or hop so you return to the top. Inhale into a halfway lift and exhale, fold forward, shake out your head. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, release. Let's repeat that. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold forward. A little bit faster. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop into plank. Can you lower down and then inhale, upward dog or cobra, whichever is your practice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Another 3 breaths. This time, take your focus to where you are, making contact with the earth. Breathe in through the palms, breathe up through the soles. Exhale, let the air release, let go of anything you don't need anymore. Inhale, feel the steadiness, the symmetry, the support, the equilibrium of the posture. One more breath. And then exhale, take the gaze to the top of the mat, step or hop, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, come to standing. Now we're going to work in another one of the dancing warrior sequences. We will do the first one a little bit slower and the second one hopefully with a little bit more sense of connectedness between each posture. So just to remind ourselves, we inhale up, starting like the sun salutation. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step or hop to the back of the mat. Lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale into the downward dog position, but we're not going to stay there very much. Just ground your left foot. Inhale, pick up your right foot and step it so that you can have it into a warrior one position. So now ground your back left foot, turning out a little bit. Inhale, draw the arms up. Exhale, draw your front foot into the center of the mat. The back foot lines up. So we're now rotating into warrior two posture and your hips want to match the long side of the mat. Inhale, flip your front palm, lean back and breathe through your right waist. And then exhale, bring your right palm to the outer edge of the right foot. Left arm draws up over the left ear. Inhale, both palms frame the front foot. Rotate the back toes to point to the short edge of the mat. Step back into plank and lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale into downward facing dog. So that's the sequence. Let's do it on the other side. Inhale, step the left leg. Exhale, plant the right foot and come into your warrior one position. Inhale, draw the arms up overhead. And then exhale, rotate and move your feet to the midline of the mat so you can come into warrior two. Make sure that your front knee is 90-degree bend over the ankle. Inhale, flip the front palm, draw back and breathe through the left waist. Exhale, again hinge from the left waist, place the left palm to the outer edge of the left foot. The right hand comes up over the ear, crown in line with the hips. Then inhale, palms frame the front foot. The back toes point forward, step back into plank. Can you lower down, inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. You did it, well done. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to go straight into a second go. Inhale, the right foot forward, come into warrior one. Exhale, plant the back foot. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, turn the hips to the long side of the mat. Feet into the midline, warrior two. Inhale, flip the front palm, rotate into reverse warrior. And then exhale, place the front palm to the outer edge of the front foot. extend the back arm up over the ear, crown in line with the hips. Inhale, rotate the back toes so they point to the front, and then step back into plank. Lower down, inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot comes forward. As you exhale, plant your right foot into warrior one position. Inhale, can you draw the arms up overhead? And then exhale, can you bring your feet to the midline? Take your 90-degree bend in the front foot, hips along the long side of the mat. Inhale, flip the front palm, rotate back into reverse warrior. Hinge at the waist, lower down, left palm to the outer edge of the left foot, right arm up over your ear. Inhale, enjoy the lateral stretch. As you place the palm down, frame the front foot, step back, exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lovely, so much movement in there. Let it settle and let your knees drop. Perhaps they come mat width apart, let the heels drop down, the hips drop down towards the heels. And have a rest in child's pose. Just let it all go. So there's a lot of opportunity to rate yourself, to give yourself performance tips. Don't worry about it. This is your place to just digest what you've done and simmer down. So allow it all to be quiet now. In your physical selves and your minds, let it all just drop away. Let the critic go. Now, can you inhale and come up to all fours? So draw your knees in. You want 90-degree bend in both. And we'll just practice a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So push through the palms and arch the back, and then inhale, draw the chest through the arms. Stick the tailbone up in the air. You may like a little bit of lateral movement as well, wiggling the bum left and right. So let's ease through the vertebra. A couple in your own time. Sink back down towards the heels. Inhale, lift back up. So we're going to now come back into downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, pick up the right foot, step it between the palms. So I'm just going to flip around so that I'm mirroring you. So you have your right foot at the top of the mat, and we're going to build up into triangle pose. So take a hold of the grip that you usually take, and remember to engage with the right side of your waist so that you can really lift up your torso away from the earth. Then let the left arm blossom up towards the sky, and your nose is in line with your thumb, if that's okay for your neck. Inhale. Exhale. Take 3 of your own nice deep breaths here. Okay, and when you've taken your third nice deep breath, let your top arm come down. Bring your focus back to your right foot, and can you just walk it a little bit over to the right-hand side of the mat, and then you bring your left foot over to the left-hand side. So can you feel how that rotates your hips to the shorter edge of the mat? Then I would like you to see if you can draw your torso up. Keep pushing away with the front foot, but drawing back with the back foot. And then again, bring your focus to your hips. Pelvis is drawing forward, so you've got these lights on your pelvis and shine them forward. Either take a hold of your opposite elbows or reverse prayer. Inhale, feel lift and lengthen the chest. Draw your navel in and up, so cue the navel to be strong. That's what's going to keep your torso steady As you lower down towards your front leg, soften your forehead as if it's going to touch your knee. Inhale. Just check that your shoulders are also level with the short edge of your mat. So it's quite tempting to draw the the right shoulder back. Keep it level with the left. And keep your navel engaged, like a sense that you're rounding over something. 3 breaths here. And when you've completed your 3 breaths, can you let your fingers drop down to the ground, support your torso as you rotate your feet to the long edge of your mat. So we're just going to bend into the knees, left and right, to ease through the joints here. And then come back so you have straight legs either side. You may want your toes slightly pigeoned. We're going to take a similar twist that we did in Malasana. So hold on to your right ankle with your right hand, and inhale. Lift up through the torso, lift up through the left arm. Take your gaze up to the left. And then you can drop down, take hold of the opposite ankle, and inhale, take a twist on the other side. So feel the nice length in the torso. Slight rotation. Keep drawing the shoulder blades together behind the back so the chest lifts. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the length in the waist. And then we're going to just rotate the toes. So now your opposite foot is at the top of the mat. We're going to come into your left foot should be over to the left side, the right foot over to the right side, and peel up away from your legs. So once again, you take your palms to your hips and just check that your right hip is drawing forwards towards your left foot so that you feel those lights are shining brightly from that sort of light belt that you have around your waist. Lovely. So if you had taken the opposite elbow, can you take the other elbow than you had before? So see if you can change the way that you cross the elbow. So those little details that we mentioned earlier keeps your practice really mindful. Otherwise, can you come to reverse prayer if that's how you did it before? And then can you draw the navel in, feel the lift in the chest as you lengthen down towards your front leg. Release it down slowly. As you inhale, just gently lift, get away from the leg again. Check that your right hip hasn't started to draw away from the front of the mat, from the front. So keep it drawing back towards the front. And if you like to, you can take your gaze to your navel. Perhaps your forehead touches the knee, perhaps not. Keep the navel strong and engaged. 3 breaths here. At the base of your third exhalation, you can release your hands, and then can you move your feet back to the midline so that you have your front heel in line with the instep of the back foot, and then can you build up to your triangle posture on the opposite side. So nice and straight in the front leg. Keep the shoulder blades drawing together behind the back. Nose and thumb are in line. And this time it's your left waist which is activated to lift the torso up and away from the earth. So you want the torso to be parallel to the earth. Crown in line with the hips, so don't make a C shape, that's challenging. And you really want to place the weight down the outside edge of the back foot. 3 breaths. Probably feel like you've done that already. Lovely. And then can you exhale and let that front palm frame the front foot. Walk that right knee over just a little and see if you can come into a nice low lunge. If you want to drop the back knee, you can. In fact, let's all do that. Let's all drop the back knee and then place some weight on the front knee. Untuck the back toe. Release from the front knee, and then inhale, draw the arms up. So you feel a really nice release through the hip flexors. And once again, just check that your right hip is drawing forwards. Gaze can be up to the thumbs or straight ahead. And then exhale, lower the palms, tuck the back toes, and simply lift up and swap over. So you want a nice long reach with the legs. And once again, inhale, lift up. Then let's activate that abdominal area. Think about drawing the navel away from the thighs. You sink down. Every time you engage your navel, you're also strengthening support for your spine. So it's a really good way to eradicate lower back pain too. Beautiful. Melt the arms down to the earth and then come so that you can sit down on your heels if that's comfortable for you, or you can extend your legs if it's not. Inhale, draw the arms up, and then exhale, let the right hand come over, up behind you, the left hand comes underneath. So either hold on to your top that you're wearing, or if you can take the bind, hold on to the hands, take the bind. Inhale, cue your navel, so you're strong in the navel. And then the aim here is, can you fold really slowly? Keep sitting on your heels. So as soon as you feel your hips come off your heels, stop. It might be, try and keep a straight back as well as you lower down. It might be that you can get all the way down and round over the knees. Have a nice few breaths there if you have them. And then inhale, draw back up. Release the hands, perhaps shake them free a little bit and have another go on the other side. So you may want to just check in now about how well you're seated through sitting down on your heels or sitting down on the earth if you've got your legs extended. Inhale, let that chest lift, draw the navel in, so cue the abdomen once again. And then exhale, hinge at the hips. Think about length in the torso before you start thinking about anything else, like rolling down long, and contact through your sit bones, contact through your heels and your hips, and then roll down if you can. When you're ready, can you roll back up? Think about the spine, cue the navel. Draw up, feel long. And then if you were sitting on your heels, just release your feet from in front of you and let your legs come into a nice wide V. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, walk your palms forwards. So we're starting to wind down a little bit now, just before we move into the Shavasana. So when you come to a place where you feel you can be supported and perhaps stay for a few breaths, so maybe that you can prop using your elbows, your head in your hands, or your forehead in your hands, which really stills the mind. Or perhaps you're going to come forward, maybe a cushion underneath the head. See if you can keep your toes drawing up, your knees pointing up towards the sky. And just take a few nice breaths that connect you with the earth. And also the sense of length and expansiveness that you have here. Perhaps you start to notice how you feel a little different at the start of practice. And then can you walk yourselves back up? Draw your legs together. Keep your knees bent and just gently lower your backs down to the earth. Palms down to the side. Can you draw your heels in so that you can tickle them? Feet are parallel. Press down through the heel, the outer edge of the foot where the little toe, what the ball of the little toe is, and the base of the big toe. Tuck your chin. Inhale. Push the navel down into the earth and then feel the tailbone peel up. Exhale. Push the feet, the knees away from you. Feel the thighs lengthen as your hips lift off the ground. And hold it here. So you can either keep pressing through your palms, or can you interlace your fingers underneath your spine and walk your shoulders together. 3 nice big breaths. So feel your front body expand. Push through your heels, lift your hips. Let those knees draw away from you. Imagine yourselves just kind of cracking open, revealing softness, space, and expansiveness. Let that front body breathe. Then gently, if you had your hands entwined, release them. Lower down the spine, vertebra by vertebra. Draw the knees up towards the chest and then let them fall over to the right. Let your gaze go to the left. Extend your left hand along shoulder height along the ground. Perhaps your right hand just heavies on top of your left knee. Enjoy this twist. Nice, soft, deep belly breath. Then can you inhale, draw the knees up to the center and straight off to the opposite side. Knees to the left, gaze to the right. Right arm extends out. So we're going to take a sideways Shavasana today, unless you prefer to have your usual supine Shavasana. So a sideways Shavasana, come and lie on your left-hand side. Sorry, no, I'm not mirroring you. Come and lie on your left-hand side. And if you like, you can have your right hand reaching up and over, so you feel a little bit of length in the right side of the body, length and openness. You can have just your right hand underneath your head, and your left hand too. So your left hand is like a cushion. And you can work with, maybe you'd like to extend your legs a little bit away from you, as long as you feel stable. And see if you're enjoying this. If you prefer to be on your back, simply just let yourself roll gently onto your back so that you can feel the symmetry through your body. So this is obviously a slightly asymmetrical end to the class. If you decide, yoga choice. Take a few nice breaths and allow your eyelids to close. And I'd like you to bring your focus back to the crown of the head. We're just going to take that same scan that we did at the start of the session. You don't have to try too hard to formulate any comparisons or draw any conclusions. Simply like you to take your focus through from the crown of your head to the forehead and brow and the nose, the eyes, the jaw, and the tongue. You don't have to do anything. You may feel each part that you think about slightly released, slightly relaxed. And down through the neck, the throat, chest and the shoulders, the torso. Spend a moment to think about how things feel inside. So many organs in there, these really important organs to rest and digest. As you lie here, know all the good that you're doing. It takes so much for that to work well. So don't worry about being overly active. Just simply relax everything on the outside. Bring the focus inwards. Roll the focus down through your torso, your navel, to your pelvis, down through the thighs and the knees, the shins and the ankles and the feet. Perhaps you have a really good picture of yourselves in your mind's eye. Perhaps not. Take any sense of effort from your mind, from your doings. And just enjoy, perhaps, hopefully, a sense of real wholeness where you are right now. Really completed. Enjoy that wonderful sensation of not chasing, of just being and being satisfied. So if you are lying on your back, could you just maybe draw your knees into your chest and roll onto your sides? So we're all lying on our sides. And then very, very, very gently, we're going to build ourselves up. So keep that sense of, just like softness in the head, softness in the neck. Keep your head supported by your left hand and draw yourselves gently back up. Allow the space that you're in to return to you, accept it. Smile, feel your expansiveness in there. And then let's just take a final few little wobbles and wiggles. And a moment to thank yourselves for coming to this practice. It will echo on hopefully throughout your week, and hopefully you'll be back for a top up next Tuesday. So we're back to Tuesdays next week. Thank you very, very much once again. It's lovely to see you.